Pius Bigirimana to trace deeper the reason as to why Mr. Chisambira said he receives 200,000 shillings, why he told that lie, and not 1 million.
And we can't prove it's a lie yet.
Yeah, 50-50. You see, they said there is no smoke without fire.
But also 200 is a lie, clearly.
200 is...
No.
We could do better.
Hyperbole. People literally appreciate it. They say that was hyperbole. I mean, but if he hadn't told,
or maybe he could be receiving that onto his account because probably part of his money is cut off in the bank. Or
yes.
Maybe
yes, that is acceptable. But also it is not what some people have been saying. So we need to find out how this can be. One of the things, how dangerous it is. If you just sweep it or brush it, sweep it under the carpet, you are posing a greater issue than you would. In leadership, you should have brought these people and said, find out. Perhaps somebody is able to speak. Perhaps there is an office messenger that will not speak. But this is the person that carries for you tea. What if that person puts something that you don't like?
They won't even need to. Someone will make them crazy with money they've never had and say, just put for Dalton this small dose. It will just make him sleep. There are things we need to read from his tape.
So as the leadership, the people that are issuing statements, please, it is not about Sambira. It's about different touch points.
Exactly.
In the organization.
And by the way, for me, it's better for someone who speaks up. There are people who will keep quiet and then do the wrong things when they're quiet. But anyhow, Dalton, how many times do you change your password? Or your PIN? My PIN. Honestly, ever since Berastede, the campaign came up, I was also awakened. So I try at least every 3 months or 2 I change it. Yes. That's a very good. That's a very good time. And these are some of the things that we are reminding. There are people who have been with a singular PIN for their either ATM, same password from the time, and every time they keep opening other accounts or they keep doing any other thing that requires a PIN or password, they use the same.
Exactly.
That is very dangerous for you, and someone could be able to take advantage because once they know that your password for your ATM is the same password, you're going to have to use, PIN that is for your bank card. You have 3 different accounts in different banks and your PIN still remains the same. That is very dangerous. The reason we are telling you this is because fraudsters are right out there waiting to steal from where they did not, they're waiting to rip from where they did not sow. So Vera, steady and be better. We'll continue with this conversation together with our partners to make sure that your digital money, your digital assets are protected. And that's the most important thing. Digital asset, including your information, not just the money, but your information as well, is very, very important. Let's move on to a crossover today. We are having Martin Okudi crossing. He has, I don't know whether he's crossed some bridges and rivers, but he's crossed from Madi into West Nile.
By the part of, I think, Moyo to Adjumani, you use a ferry. If you don't want to take the longer road.
Yeah, sure.
So he has crossed
even from Obongi to Ojumani, I think. Obongi to Ojumani, you cross a water body, it's about 15 minutes. But well, it's matters of agriculture that we are talking about, and that is particularly addressing food insecurity in the refugee settlements. Let's get the details from Martin Okodi. Good morning to you. Any bridges you crossed that the bridges are not broken, like Katonga is?
Good morning, Mildred. Good morning, Dalton. Obongi district is hosting over 125,000 refugees from the neighboring South Sudan. Now, this number has tripled that of the host community in Obongi district. The leaders here are raising red flag over upcoming or anticipated food insecurity. That is why the office of the RDC and that of the local council 5 chairperson are now sensitizing both the refugees and the local community to embrace agriculture, because the majority of the farmers here rely on rain-fed agriculture, meaning during the dry spell they remain redundant. I spoke to the RDC of Obongi district. Let us hear from him.
Have scaled down because of the war in Russia and Ukraine. So they have reduced, and because of the economic pressures we have globally. So now UNHCR, FAO have announced reduction in food distribution and cash grant. So what we are doing now is to appeal to the people to grow as much food as possible. As we talk now, we have 2 tractors in the district. One of them is down. We are trying to make sure it is repaired so that it is working, and we are appealing to the people to use commercial agriculture. As we talk, the refugees we are hosting, we are also encouraging them because they have land. They have been growing food. We are encouraging them to grow as much food as possible. As we realize, Obongi has got a lot of fertile land. So we are really appealing to the people to grow as much food as possible, because in Obongi, all types of food can grow. Any type of food, it can grow there. So we are now appealing to our people to use the various government programs that we have in place. We have programs.
Mildred, what we know is that the United Nations World Food Program has announced a reduction of food ration given to the refugees, including cash grants. Now, the only option for the refugees to survive is to borrow land or hire land, and they start practicing agricultural activities. Back to you at the Political Command Center.
All right, thank you very much for that update. And yes, food insecurity. And I don't want to think that this is something that needs to be dealt with only in the refugee settlements, but in the greater proportion of the entire country. I was looking at, there was an assessment report, Dalton, as we get to our next update, that was done on how much waste in terms of food we have in Uganda, and yet a very close neighbor as Kenya is grappling with getting the biggest meal, which is unga.
But I see also, because the whole value chain has not been sorted, when you sort it, you're able to keep a lot and export.
And for me, Dalton, I agree that we're talking about quantity.
Yes.
But we have to have a discussion that is looped between quality and quantity.
Absolutely.
It's one thing for you to have, I know of, just recently, there is an off-taker who needed about 500 metric tons of maize. But where is the quality?
Absolutely.
Because he's not just taking any sort of maize, they're taking quality maize. And that's according to some statistics from the East African Grain Council, and that's just one. How many others are available?
The Kenyans are always coming up to make sure that they pick whatever you've produced and they wait for the season, then sell it to you back. That's the brilliance they have. Or, it's not just brilliance, sometimes it's about the money, available capital to play around with. Yes, speaking about these country round, I would like to, Mildred, when was the last time you heard about Operation Shuja?
Normally when there is a budget supplementary,
yes,
when it is coming through, that's the last time. But maybe, yeah, let's get an update on what Shuja is. One time a member of parliament asked, is this going to be a forever operation? Well, let's get to speak to Julius Navimanya, who will be talking to the operations commander to let us know how far until when. Julius.
Well, thank you so much, Mildred. It is very true. With me here is Major General D. Korum, Commander Operation Shuja, and who doubles also as the Commander of Mountain Division. General, you're welcome on NBS.
Thank you.
Give us the update on Operation Shuja.
Good morning, viewers and listeners. Operation Shuja, as you know, began way back in 2021, November 30th. And this is entering into the second year in completion, that we've completed. Operation Shuja has always been a success. We've tried a lot, we've done a lot. As you understand, it was the memorandum of understanding between the two governments of the DRC and Uganda. Of course, all this spearheaded by the two heads of states, President Yoweri Museveni and President Felix Tshisekedi Antoine. But to start with the first area, the first mission, the first phase of the operation, that was the attack in Kambi-Ayua. There's a great annihilation of the ADF until they left the Kambi-Ayua. They dispersed in so many small groups. When they dispersed, and that was the time that now we went into the second phase. And the second phase, of course, moved them in the areas of Tokomeka, in the areas up there in Mount Hoyo, which is in Ituri region. We followed them there. They again scattered. We also broke down into small groups. We followed them from phase 2, and this now pushed us in phase 3, where we found that they had actually scattered, and they came down south of Beni, and that is in the area of the major Semuliki rivers and the rivers Taliha, and generally the areas of Mwalika Valley. So far it has been so good. Suffice also to say that there's been a lot of success in terms of the population going back to the villages, going back out of the camps where the UN had protected them. The UN is no more protecting any civilian in the areas we have pacified, like in the areas of Chabi, Boga, Burasi, up to the areas of Kainama. With the 2 initiatives of the 2 presidents of construction of roads, 1 which enhanced our mobility, 2 which was an economic enhancement to the 2 countries, enhancing trade between the 2 peoples. That's one of the biggest achievements. The road from Kasindi to Beni is more than halfway done, and we think it's a great work that the Ugandan company Dot Services is doing. The UPDF, in conjunction with the FRDC, the Congolese military, have done the road from Burasi going to Boga. Of course, with lots of challenges, but I think so far Operation Shujaa has been a huge and great success.
So should we say you're about to leave?
My brother, as I always say, military operations are operations that have both strategic and tactical end states. When you look at strategy, the strategy is ensuring the population of Congo and the population of Uganda are very, very secure. To think that we are leaving today, tomorrow, or sometime in future is a bit difficult. The ADF has not totally been annihilated, totally been decimated, or totally finished. The ADF is still a threat. Now, we chase them out of those areas of Loselose, Njelube, Kambiayua, up in Montoyo, but now they have sort of grouped back southwards in the Mwalika Valley. So to think that we are leaving today is not very easy. But we think we are on the right course, and I can't specifically say when we will be leaving.
General, recently we saw the remnants crossing Tuntoroko. How safe are we now for any who would want to cross again?
To tell you, listeners and viewers, when the ADF crossed Tuntoroko last year on the 13th of December, that is when we showed the country, when we showed the world that UPDF was a force that was meant to do what it's supposed to do. They crossed 51 in number, we killed 26, we captured 25 and picked all the guns they came with, that is 33 guns. Now, this is what tells you that the peace in the entire Rwenzori region, in the 12 districts of Rwenzori region is so smart. So I don't see any problem with ADF trying to cross back. If they cross back, that will be a very huge advantage for us, and we shall do what we do better with them.
General, finally with you, we have had the terrain with your officers that it is not favorable. How are they doing there?
It's just horrible. Congo is a very big country. I don't know how many times Uganda enters into Congo, but to assure you, we have a problem of infrastructure. There are no road networks. There are so many facilities that are lacking. This is the worst time of any operation in the world when it's rainy, especially in the Congo jungles. It is so bad. We have to resupply our soldiers on road, sometimes by air, but by air becomes a bit expensive. But when we take the road method of resupplying our soldiers, we get into a lot of trouble. The swamps, the floods, the muddy areas where the trucks don't move, it's so heavy. We, in most cases, have to move with these heavy armored trucks, but it becomes a huge challenge. Infrastructure, so terrible in Congo. It's unlike Uganda here.
Thank you so much, General.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome.
Well, that one you have heard from Major General Diko Rum, and of course is together with Julius Navimanya, the NBS's reporter, Operation Shujaa, and I think now our viewers have got to understand what is happening in DRC. Well, that's it for now. Back to you at the Political Command Center.
Okay, thank you very much for that update. I love the communication skills coming in from the commander. He makes you feel like Operation Shujaa is some very nice thing. Okay, not nice in terms of it is not good, but it feels like it's a party. There is no fighting, you understand. But I think I totally commend the communication skills of his Major General Diko Lum.
Diko Lum. I followed the story of Diko Lum. When I see Diko Lum, I get excited about him and how it's a true example of hard work. They say hard work, pays, dedication, loyalty. And Diko Lum first came to the limelight at Kololo airstrip. He was a captain
Yes.
And he was a commander. Who are those guys that shout, Ugu Pande? He was a parade commander.
I don't know which name they're given, by the way. Maybe our producer, Becca, would
he was a parade commander.
Is that a collective name? Okay.
No, he was a parade commander. So it's one of those, and he did it so excellently that he attracted the attention of the president, and the president asked, who is this guy? Yes? From then, life never became the same again. He has been almost everywhere. He has been a contingent commander in Somalia.
So we should sharpen our...
Yes, Dikolum. I wish you could... We wish to remind him of that picture that went viral. Anyway, yes, about water. One of the biggest discussion around the globe is about conservation or preservation of water.
Dalton, what did you say? It is water.
Yes, it is actually.
It's water.
Yes, it's water.
So let's go for the update.
We'll be speaking to Sewaje Fred, who was correspondent in Mubende. And this time we're speaking about how to use water and how it is being used. Sewaje, amazzi batugamba gafuusa otuzzi bituufu?
Dalton ne Mildred kambabuzeeko nti mwasuse mutya mu bitundu eby'e Kampala gye mubeerera ku mazzi aga ttaapu ate nno yo e Mubende oyinza okugamba nti kisa kinegula kubanga baba abatuuze abawangalira ku kyalo Kisasa otuzzi twa ttaapu baloota tuloote era tulinga lufumo gye bali nga banono ekyalo Kiramba kiriko oluzzi lumu lwokka ate nga nalwo amazzi makyafu ekitagambika. Abatuuze bano amazzi ge bakozesa gaoli mu kitoogo nga ge bakozesa mu mirimu gyabwe omuli okunywa, okufumba n'emirimu emirala. Twatuuseko ku kyalo kino Kisasa ekisanga mu ggombolola ly'Ekiyuni wano mu Buweekula constituency Mubende district, wabula kye twasanzeeyo nga embeera amazzi gano ge bakozesa gayungula ezziga nga bw'olaba ebifaananyi bye twakwatidde twasanze abatuuze baneeno bali mu kusena amazzi omuli abaana abato, abakyala wamu n'abaami, wabula nga bw'otunuulira amazzi ge babadde bakozesa oba ge basena okutwala ewaka. Ekituufu kiri nti ng'embeera yennyamiza. Abamu baatuuse n'okutukakasa nti kituufu amazzi gano ge banywa ne batulaga nti nno bagenda kuganywa mu maaso ga kamera tukakase nti bye boogera tebalimba. Bano batutegeeza nti nno amazzi gano gafiiramu embwa, gafiiramu enkima, ente kwe zinywa na buli kimu ebisolo by'omu nsiko byonna kwe binywa ate nabo ng'abantu ge mazzi ge bakozesa. Kati nno bano bagamba nti nno kino kiviiriddeko endwadde nnyingi mu kitundu kyabwe nga bangi mu kaseera kano basiiba mu malwaliro mu ndwadde omuli eza typhoid. Kyokka ate nti bwe balwala babajjako ensimbi nnyingi ze batasobola kubanga ennyingiza yaabwe ntono ddala. Kati bano bavuddeyo ne basaba abakulembeze ba disitulikiti y'e Mubende okuva ddala ku baka ba pulezidenti, abaka mu paalamenti, bakansalazi wamu n'abakulembeze ab'ebyalo babataase waakiri bafunire nayikondo emu ku kyalo kyabwe bafune amazzi amayonjo. Naye nga bwe bali mu kaseera kano bagamba nti embeera ebayinze obuzito kubanga ekyalo Kiramba kiriko oluzzi lumu lwokka ate nga balina n'okutya nti abaana bazenga bagwa mu luzzi olwo oba mu kidiba ekyo kye twakwatidde ebifaananyi bwe bagenda okusena amazzi weekanga ng'omwana akigudde mu kitegeeza nti nno kiteeka obulabe bw'amaanyi nnyo mu bulamu bw'abaana n'abantu abawangalira mu bitundu ebyeyo. So ebisingawo ku mboozi eno Dalton ne Mildred tujja kuba tubatuusa ku mawulire gaffe agaddako naye nga embeera bwetyo bweri bwe tutuuka ku nsonga y'amazzi mu bitundu eby'e Mubende. Munzikirize enkomewo ku Political Command Center tweyongereyo mu bitundu by'eggwanga eby'enjawulo.
Byotulaze byennyamiza naye nsuubira ab'obuyinza babirabye era nga n'abakulembeze b'ebitundu ebyo basobola okukyusa obulamu bw'abantu. You cannot just wait for government.
Yeah.
If government is sitting somewhere and watching on, the local leadership, you can do something about it.
There is, I know there are mechanisms and innovations that have come through. I've seen some tabs or something that could be able to purify the water. That's one. But I think I was also watching on, I was following through LinkedIn and I saw an innovation that could actually turn water that was that muddy into very clear, clean, safe water for drinking. I'm wondering why we wouldn't have such.
It is about leadership. Mildred, I agree in Kampala. Most parts of, let's say from, let's say Mengo Hill, you go to Katwe, you go to Makindye. They had some wells that were almost like that, not like that, but also they were unclean, so unclean. But through coming, actually to be where Sewanya the MP, it's called Sewanya, right? For Makindye West. there is what they call Navsanke. I think it's not Navsanke, Nawanku, inside. This is the type of well they have.
That they had.
They had. So they mobilized themselves into making something better, and to the LC system. While we wait for government, I think
something
they can.
should be
Instead
done
of asking money for security, you should be asking at least 500 for some to clean up. Something that should be clean. Do you see that? Well, we'll take a break definitely, and when we return, we shall be speaking more of to the upcountry teams that are there, but also, in case you want to get back to us at Mildred Tuhaise and at Dalton Kawesa, we'll have this conversation and maybe hear you out. What should these people do in order to change their lives? And in terms of getting safe water, stay here.
We'll be back. Thank you for keeping it NBS Television. This is your most authoritative morning current affairs show. My name is Mildred Tuhaise, and I'm not alone with Dalton Kawesa. So many other ways that you can be able to get to us on social media at NBS TV, Twitter, NBS Television on Facebook, and Next Media Services on YouTube. But you can also download the Afro mobile app. The future is right in your palm. In the news, of course, we continue to remind you, Police Constable Wabwide was charged yesterday and will be remanded to Luzira, expecting him back around the 7th of June. But while we're still talking about that shooting, another guard did shoot a colleague dead in Tororo, also still under investigation, an absurd incident that brings to the fore the discussion about gun violence. Also, another one who said for him, I think he wasn't planning to use a gun, but rather use ram into a stationary car. That is the judiciary driver, Stanley Sambira, who faces disciplinary action yesterday as the permanent secretary right there, Julia Bijirimana Pius, did address a presser. But while we still look out for this financial year coming to an end and the next financial year coming through, the budget estimates are growing bigger and bigger each and every day, and currently we stand at 52.7 trillion shillings. We don't know whether before the 30th of June, this will not be a much bigger figure. What we were asking is, what next? But also talking about road carnage. Remember yesterday, myself and Dalton were speaking about the traffic amendment bill that was passed in Parliament, and reckless driving was for 2 million shillings. I know that reckless driving has caused quite a number of accidents, including as well overspeeding. There was an unfortunate accident where over 3 lives were lost on Tiririnyi Road, and we have Gerald Matembo here to give us this update. Gerald Matembo, when did this happen, and what does police have to say about the preliminary investigation so far?
Thank you, Mildred. Coming to you live from Kadama Police Station here along Tiririnyi Road in Budaka District, just a few meters from where the accident happened. What you see right behind is the bus, the YY bus number UBC 400C, UBG 400C, which was involved in an accident. From what we have been informed is that the bus lost control and overturned, killing 3 people, including the driver, Ntege Muhammad, who happens to be one of the longest serving drivers, Mildred, and also happens to be actually my neighbor and a very good friend of mine. Here, I am joined by one of the survivors who was actually in this bus yesterday evening. You can move closer here, sir. The viewers would like to know what exactly happened.
I'm Kateu Simon Peter. Yeah, what exactly happened? I think the bus driver was not driving well. That's what I can say. He was overtaking a trailer, which I don't know what it was carrying. And as well as he was overtaking, there was a certain car coming from in front. That's where I think he got scared and started fighting with the car. Yeah, and we ended up down. Yeah.
How did you yourself survive? Because we are told many other people.
I don't know, it's just God who made me survive. Yeah, and who made everyone move out of that car? Those ones who survived. Because it was really not an easy thing. We just saw the days coming. Yeah.
Maybe finally you can share with us your experience. At what point did you realize that you're in trouble? And how did you, what was the reaction?
No, the reaction was, to me myself, I was just holding somewhere where I hold it, and as I got some, like holding that stuff. See those things where you hold when you're moving out. That's where I hold it, but everyone reactions, we were just making noise because it took at least, he fought with it by that. Yeah, because we moved at least a distance when we were knowing.
Okay, that is it, Mildred. We are told, according to the police report, several other people victims were rushed to Mbale Regional Referral Hospital, and they are still undergoing medical attention. Mildred, over to you at the command center.
All right, thank you very much, Gerald Matembo, for that update coming through. Very unfortunate, and I think that is why the Traffic and Road Safety Amendment Bill is coming through with a lot of charges, although those charges also need to be looked into a little bit further more than just saying we are going to slap this amount of money and slap this amount of money here and there. Well, we expect that something better can be done, lest we will be empowering police officers who just want to use the law against drivers on the road.
Well, the discussion has actually caught a lot of controversy. Everyone, yesterday, Masengeje went to the public. And one of the things that came up is, I was shocked, one of the association heads for our taxi said, Feba Kosako, most of the accidents are not by us. It's actually Feba Tomera. But us who are travelers on public roads and those us who use taxis...
Bagala, that particular fine to be on bus drivers over?
So I don't know.
We exclude taxi operators,
yes,
and then
I think that's what they're saying.
And then we do private car owners and then bus drivers buses. And trucks, yes.
They've promised to write a petition to the Speaker. I think next week they will be putting a petition. I heard that they were not heard, but as far as I remember, they interfaced with the committee. But according to the chairperson on one of the associations yesterday in the park said, they never heard from them. Let's see how it goes.
Well, we are still waiting for that, but it's unfortunate. And Tiringi is a death trap.
Oh, of course.
I don't know over the years just how much has been done to, number one, educate the people, but also number two, just work on particular spots. Because on all these roads, there are those particular death traps, spots that not only need to be notified, but something has to be put to ensure that,
But also, when you look at it, is the discipline of the buses. You were showing us why. We have interviewed people that use these buses, not just YY, but also these other companies. Recently, there's a new company that came on the Western Axis. And I saw excitement on some of the socials saying that people had monopolized these routes and you would not tell them off. If you told them off, they would threaten you off the bus because they had the monopoly.
Yes.
So I think it goes back to the association of these buses. And what happens is people bring up an association and say we're agri-transport, agri-coaches. Different individuals put in their own buses under that line, under that trading name. It shows that they're not able to discipline these individuals. There is a gap. So if there is a gap, from Mbale, let's say, use Mbale, or use Soroti, through Mbale, up to Iganga, I think the bus check, those stops they used to do until they were removed, happened around Iganga. You get it? Where they will ask you, what time did you leave? What time did you? Have you reached this point? Those are no longer in existence. You remember Matuga had one. Those people are coming from the other side. I don't remember. Maybe on around what's that forest? Mpanga Forest. On Masaka Road, there was something like that. Mpambide, I think it's called Mpambide.
Mpambide, where we normally have drum making or something like that.
Around there, they would have checks, sports checks for these buses, and maybe in Kayabwe. Those things at one point, those checks reduced on the accidents. They were cautioned. Although it was an avenue for bribery, but at least not everyone would part with the bribe.
Yeah, the bad eggs can never miss out.
So it was removed, but we need to revisit it. But I don't trust some people in the whole operation.
I can feel that in the sound of your voice. But well, we just want to remind you as well that in case you're looking out for news, we're going to be sharing numbers. If you are in the community and there is anything that is happening in this day and age, we just cannot be able to depend on a Mildred and Dalton who have to go to the field and look out for the news. Probably something is breaking in your community, and we'll be giving you numbers that you can be able to share your news items, tips and stories about. But for now, on your most accurate news portal, www.nilpost.co.ug, Mao calls for remuneration commission to address civil servants' concerns. You know, there's been a lot of strikes and discussions about salary. Mubaje ejects Basajja Balaba from General Assembly as power struggle looms at Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. Get to have that read. It's only about a 2 minutes read or so, and get the details. Bijirimana, who is the Permanent Secretary of Judiciary, calls for disciplinary action against judiciary driver for telling lies over poor pay. Okay. And then moving on, another security guard shoots colleague dead in Tororo. Still in the discussion about gun violence. Well, we'll get to give you more and more details coming through, but we will now need to be crossing over to Zainab Namusaza atatubulire ebifeeyo akatawuni kabuguumiridde olw'okuba abantu kati balina kuyitira ludda luli esembabule oba bizibu byerere. Zainab, tubuulire. All right, we'll be going back to Zainab Namusazi in just a bit, and especially doing a spot check on the alternative route. I know of so many people who have to be traveling and making journeys, and all they're thinking about is the extra close to 100 kilometers they have to add on to their journey.
The devil's disciple, assuming that this bridge broke during festive season.
Which one? But Dalton, why?
You see,
why do you have to think about the worst?
You see, towards Christmas, there's always a complaint that UNRWA is going to work on the roads, and you would see they would issue that we are going to work on it.
Well, we normally have rains at least around September, October.
Yes, they were going to work on it. So imagine it had happened that way.
Not a very big chance that during Christmas we would have this road breakdown because of flooding. Because we have less rains then.
Maybe it has been worked. You see, a big wall to fall, it has been worked, the crack has been working itself throughout, and this was just a push. But I hope, because this alternative route, if you're going to Masaka, you definitely pass through Komansimbi area, then you end up in Masaka. From PG through Kablasoke, then I hope that small town around there, these guys are ripping.
Maybe Zainab should be able to let us in on what it looks like having this alternative route.
Yes. Zainab, tusanze okubeera naawe amachaga leero, era twagala kumanya nga tonnaba tubuulira embeera abantu gye batambuliramu. Twandisuubidde otubuulireko okukyusa entambula y'abantu abagenda e Masaka ne bayita Sembabule, ne bayita Komansimbi, ne bayita Villa Maria, then ne bayita Komansimbi batuuka gy'oli. Kireeseewo enkyukakyuka yonna. Zainab.
Nenza Dalton Mildred Nobewa NBS ekyokuba nti n'abantu kati obudde buno agenda e Kampala ate ayita Masaka, Bukomansimbi, Sembabule, Madugomba paka Mpigi ate kyayongera kukalubya ku lugendo lw'ensonga nti nno bw'otunyanga okuva e Masaka okutuuka e Kampala okutuuka Mpigi emmotoka zino we zibateeka nga ziyise ku lw'Sembabule waliwo kilomita 9.7 ate wano w'oyita e Bukomansimbi, Villa Maria, Sembabule waliwo kilomita eziwadde ddala 173 nga so olugendo lw'abakaluubirizaamuko wakwadde nti nno nga w'omanya embeera nga wakedde ng'olina otambula oba emmotoka eyitawo obawa olina kuguma bugumi naye nga bo abantu si basanyufu era nga buli omu w'oyita awanjagira bekikwatako gavumenti awamu n'ekitongole kya UNRWA okubeera nga ate kyanguya okubeera nga kiddabiriza oluguudo olwa Masaka Kampala Highway. Wabula mukadde kano nyimiridde wano eno mu kifo kimanyiddwa nga Nyendo Market Triangle mu kibuga Masaka nga gwe gumu ku mugotteko oguli e Masaka. Wabula abantu baamu abawangaliramu mu mugotteko guno abawera dda abasukka mu 2 bagamba nti nno boolekedde okubeera nga ate balwala endwadde eziva ku bujama oluvannyuma lw'okubeera nga tebalina kabuyonjo naddala ezo zituukaganye n'omutindo. Okusinziira ku chairman w'ekitundu kino Kiwuwa Godfrey agamba nti gavumenti yavaayo mu mwaka gwa 2023 nesobola okubeera nga ate ebaterawo kabuyonjo eri ku mutindo ey'amazzi naye kabuyonjo eno yazibikira olw'ensonga nti nno nga bumanyi abantu abasinga obungi tebamanyi enkozesa ya kabuyonjo zino nga abasinga obungi bagenda nga bazisuulamu ebintu ebitalina kugenda mugamba ng'ebiveera nesobola okubeera nga zizibikira ate nga tebalina n'amazzi gasobola kubeera nga ate bagiyonja bulungi kyokka era ssentebe antegezezza nti nno ku mayumba agali muneeno agakunukkiriza eyo mu 100 ate amayumba kumpi oyinza osanga amayumba 20 gokka ge galina kabuyonjo ez'obwannannyini nga kyo nno kireesewo embeera y'amaanyi ng'asobola gavumenti singa ebadde esobola okubeera nga esobola okuvaayo n'eddabiriza kabuyonjo eno awamu n'okusomesa abantu babawangalya mu katundu kano ku nkozesa yaayo kyandibayambako naye obudde buno naye talina kikyakukola kyokka abatuuze bagamba nti boolekedde okubeera nga ate bongera ddala okulwala endwadde eziva ku bujama olw'embeera eno eyakabuyonjo era omulayi waffe owa NBS ebifaananyi ebyo nga woolaba biyita ku screen yeyo embeera eri ku kabuyonjo z'omu kitundu kinene ow'ennyimiridde. Kankomewo Dalton ne Mildred mu Political Command Center abalabi baffe mu bongereyo n'ebifa mu bitundu ebirala.
N'amayumba ago.
Are those meant to be called houses anyway?
Mildred.
No, I'm not saying for the sake that people are not supposed to live in. I know those are living or dwelling places for others. But where are the authorities? Where is government in this context? You see, the reason why we have the annual housing baraza on NBS right here at Next Media Services, it's not because we want to talk about designs and what, but we are addressing a particular problem, which is housing.
I looked at the living conditions and I became speechless. I ran out of words. You see stagnant water within the dwelling, squatting houses. You would see that cracks are through. And she talks about a market. A market is a larger bit of community where people gather. Then you expect hygiene. You expect them to use those restrooms. If the environment is that, do these people have a restroom?
Of course. If they do, which type of... They could.
Yes.
But what type of restroom? What type of water sources do they have?
It's very unfortunate, but you see, I think it is Ubuntu. It's more to do with community mobilization. Bulungi bwansi. Let's go back to the basics. That when you see a problem, I know that market has a leadership. NAPSAS is talking about. Obulungi bwansi, can you get a day in a month and clear? Of the housing, it's something that's a bit complicated for now. But I think through projects and lobbying, leaders that lobby, you can lobby different organizations. These leaders we send, we've seen the mayors go to New York to attend these mayors conference. What are they doing? Just attending? They should be able to get idea and lobby for these people. Municipalities, there are municipalities for these rather these cities that have come up. Yes? They go to this conference. They should be able to lobby for these small towns such that they also change how they look. Because think about it. There are people who would, in Kampala, for instance, when you talk about the mayor, people think it's just Erias Lukwago. Yes? There are other mayors. You go and lobby and get resources. You change brick by brick. You change the living condition of the people, of your own people. Otherwise, that's why I used to love the Rengo guy. Also, they used to say, Mildred, remember, that he was accused of abusing human rights. It is important. You remember the Rengo LC5?
Forgetting his name. And we talked about him yesterday.
Even you talked about him. Rengo was different.
Was it Mutabazi or something?
Yes, Mutabazi.
Yes.
Rengo was different because, he employed
It could have been high-handed
and
rude.
methods. But at least in terms of mobilization, everyone knew that this day, Rengo, we are going to be touching Rengo our own and improving it.
That's very true. Well, later on, we're going to be talking about incubator discussions, talking about building entrepreneurs of tomorrow, and that is about the Stanbic Bank Schools Challenge, and now the numbers are swelling each and every day as more and more schools get to yearn to join into this competition and not only win goodies but also get trained on entrepreneurship. We do not want to have an education system that continues to recycle and give us job seekers only as opposed to job creators. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.